family making of this?
Well, I have heard them respond to the question, what do you think about your father, your grandfather? My great-grandchildren haven't asked the question yet. And they respond, well, we may not like it, but he's going to do it anyway.
What don't they like about it? They're worried about
Well,
you?
they must think that I'm so old that I'm going to fall off of it or something like that. Or that I'm going to run into a tree, or, motorcycles have that image of being very, very threatening.
Yes.
But the fact is, like a Texan on a horse, if you get your leg over it, it takes care of the rest of it.
There you go.
So I've been 60,000 miles on this particular Harley, covered all 50 states. I've never had even a close call. That's not beating on wood because you never know, but I've had a couple of serious accidents in automobiles in the meantime.
Let me, because you did this last year, right? You did this last year, and you're doing it again this year. There are two different reasons, of course.
Yeah.
Talk about last year, first of all. So you were a young 88 years old then.
I was, and with age comes wisdom, of course, so I'm a year wiser, and that really is a distinction.
Yes.
But last year I traveled a little more southerly route, and I got in Tornado Alley. And I had to have somebody pick me up, put my motorcycle on a cart, and haul me through the tornado area. So I skipped a couple of things I needed to do, but I went all the way through the process and all the way back to Richmond, and we got a lot done in the spirit of the time, the spirit of 45, lots of veterans, lots of wreath layings, lots of speaking in schools, even had a couple of 3 cities named for me. Like cool. Bruce Heilman Cincinnati Day. That's pretty good stuff,
Yeah, absolutely. You're meeting our governor tomorrow, but we'll get to that in a minute.
That's right, yeah.
And that was really, you fought in Okinawa, right?
I did.
And you did that for partially because of that battle. You wanted to remember that battle.
Well, that's true. I wanted to remember that as a Marine, I had concentrated on something that Marines do.
Yes.
They do lots of things, but they also fight in the field, and I want to be sure I did that. And after they saw me come into Okinawa and stayed a few weeks, then they decided to drop the bomb, get this over with, because I was going to do it anyway.
Colonel Paul Tibbets from Iowa, by the way.
That's right.
That's
yes,
right, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I was just back over there on Tinian. And just in recent months, and it's grown up in weeds and bushes. It's a shame.
Yeah, it is a shame.
Yeah.
So that was last year. So you did that, and you got home safely, and the family were like, that's good. You're not going to do that again.
That's exactly what my son thought.
Your son is a sprightly how old?
He is, I'm going to be embarrassed at the fact I don't even know the age, but about 56.
About 56, okay.
Yeah.
So
He'll probably say, Dad, listen, I'm 10 years younger than him.
So the youngest son, that must be the youngest.
He's the youngest of the family.
Okay.
5, yeah.
So he was pleased that you got back, and then...
In fact, he was so interested when I arrived in San Diego last year. He was there waiting for me. When I arrived in California this year at the hotel I went in, he was there waiting for me. So he's checking up on me.
Very, very cool. So then you tell him you're going to do it again.
Well, I am anticipating that my energies will be reinforced.
Yes.
And I'll be called upon to do some heroic act, and this will be it.
Well, that's good. Well, we like having you here. We're talking to Bruce Heilman, Professor Bruce Heilman. What's the professor part about?
Well, I guess if I might extend that just a little bit, having flunked out of high school,
yes,
and I became a teacher with flunked algebra twice, and end up being a teacher of the mathematics of accounting. Can you believe that?
There you go.
And then after, I still hadn't gotten a degree from high school, but I do have a PhD from a university. So.
That's excellent. Man, I may have to look into that. That's really cool. Okay, so you've done all this, and you want to. This is about Pearl Harbor, and for those of you who've never been to Pearl Harbor, you need to put that on the list of things. I think there's 3 real American touchstones that you really must do sometime in your life. I believe you have to go to Pearl Harbor. I believe you have to go to the Alamo. And I believe you have to go to Ground Zero in New York at some point in your life. I believe those three things are really important for every American. And I've been to Pearl Harbor. I've been blessed. I've been there 3 times, and it doesn't get any easier. When you look over the side of the Arizona Memorial and you still see fuel leaking out of the Arizona still all these years later, and you look down and you know how many are down there, and you look at the wall and you read the names, it doesn't get any easier. It really doesn't. And you're there to, you want to highlight Pearl Harbor, part of the spirit of 45.
I was there this past year, and also I was there with the person who's most responsible for the spirit of 45. He and I were on the platform. We were supposed to say about 2 minutes who we represented.
Yep.
I did. There were 2 ahead of me. They did their 2 minutes, and they were sitting down. Someone walked up behind me and whispered in my ear, "Did you know you're the keynote speaker for the evening?" Well, I didn't know that, so I had to make a quick vision of what I'd look like up there saying nothing. And so I spoke, and there were 10,000 people in the big park, and then we had a big parade, and we had many on the platform who actually were there when the Japanese attack. So that was a very serious moment.
And what is the purpose? Is it about not allowing people to forget what took place?
Yes, I think that is it. We don't want to forget. People tend, unless they're reminded, they don't remember. And one of my key responsibilities on this ride of the Gold Star families, which is the predominant reason for my doing this, is to make people aware of the importance of acknowledging veterans, what they did, why they did it. Some gave their lives in the process. Most of us came home, and we ought never to let the world forget, particularly our country, that our freedom exists because those who signed up said, "I'm willing to die for my country if I must."
Exactly right. We are talking to Bruce Heilman. He is a World War II veteran. He is 89 years old. He turns 90 in July. He is crossing the country on a Harley to make sure we don't forget Pearl Harbor. He's going to be meeting the governor tomorrow. We're going to be talking about that a little bit. It is 4:17. It is 71 degrees and sunny. And Jim Brown will have all the traffic for you as well. This is the Simon Conway Show, News Radio 1040 WHO.
I'd like to talk about the liar in chief.
Let your voice be heard.
You were saying
Okay.
what I was screaming in my head.
News Radio 1040.